All right, welcome back. Welcome back. Just breezing through this first hour of a Freaky Friday Liquid Lunch edition. I'm John Tobacco. Lots of crazy stuff going on. Freaking out all over the place across the country, mostly in blue cities because of these crazy liberal protests. Hey, if they're peaceful, First Amendment, fine. When you're taking over a precinct, no good. I don't like it. Dow up just a little bit, 500 points today, retracing some of the 2,000 almost it lost yesterday. And Bitcoin's still hanging around in that 9,500 range. To me, the market is tumultuous here, and I would stay away from it because it's very, very volatile. And with this whole defund the police, who knows what kind of unrest can happen, and that volatility will also hurt the markets. And somebody who's fighting to get down to Washington and support our president in Congress joins us right now, along with Frank. George Santos will join us shortly, but Frank is with us. Hello, Frankie.
Hello there, John.
I get mixed signals when I can only see the top of Nico's head.
Understood.
So I thought George was with us already, but he's not.
All right. Well, let me tell you what's happening here in New York State, where George is running for Congress from. Governor Cuomo, just moments ago, has signed into law a package of criminal justice and police reform bills. He says that police departments must reinvent and modernize their strategies by meeting with their communities. Gee, I can't imagine. Why didn't the NYPD think of that before? Meeting with the communities? Oh, wait, they do.
We should modernize?
Every month. So in addition, the measures include a repeal to make police disciplinary records public, a ban of chokeholds, and fake 911 race reports will now be a crime. The bills were pushed through very quickly. I think as quickly as the New York State legislature has ever done anything, quite frankly, in the wake of the death of George Floyd, obviously. The governor said these measures are long overdue and that it was time to take a look through a new lens for police reform.
Wow. Frankie, I know you won't see the video until it's delayed, but this is ours. I'm going to ask Jess to tweet it out and put it out on our Facebook. But in lickety-split time, Jess put together the official... Oh, okay. I mean, you just said I have the full screen. Never mind. We don't have it. When I'm talking about mixed signals, I'm talking about words coming out of people's mouth. Like Jess said, I have the full screen. Look. And I said, okay, we have it. Okay. We don't have it, but we will have it shortly. I guess just like George Santos, we'll have him shortly also. But Jess did make a beautiful black and blue yin-yang logo, which I was going to share with our audience so that no one can steal it from us. I think it's the official Liquid Lunch show of solidarity. What do you think? What do we call it?
I like it. Again, I'd like to see it before...
You have it now, Nico? Yes, sir. All right, let's see if you could see it. Frank, I know you're on a couple-second delay over there, but that is absolutely wonderful.
Is it?
There you go. And I think that says a lot about a person. If you want to put that up, yeah. Can we put some, put the at Liquid Lunch on the white part of it, at Liquid Lunch TV.
Oh, I like it.
All right.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna start getting that out there, Frank, and I think that says a lot in a very simple way.
You should hand that over to George Santos. See if he'll popularize it out there in Long Island for his campaign.
Yeah, maybe.
What is it? Tell me. I didn't hear it.
Well, George, I was talking earlier. Thanks for joining us. I was talking about earlier in our open. You know, my father was a cop. I know a lot of great men who had an effect on my life who were cops and. Went on vacations with them. I watched my father play ball with them, and they were people we learned from, right? So I have an affinity for cops. But that doesn't mean I don't stand with people who are against racial injustice and cop murders, right? And we're talking about this cancel culture that if you don't put up a black box, then that means maybe you're racist. And if you put anything pro-cop, that means you're anti, the movement for equality. So we created the yin-yang sign, the yin-yang, with one half black and one half blue, and then the dots alternating blue and black to try to say, hey, there are a lot of people out there who can stand for both of those things peacefully.
I mean, look, John, I agree. Unfortunately, I'll tell you, you'll hear it in the segment, but I took a stand for the cops just because it's common sense. And it's funny, I'm so pro cop, although I have no history of police officers in my family. And I've gotten a couple of severe death threats to the point that I have a cop car in front of my building now 24/7. They actually delivered a note that it's being held by NYPD as evidence, but they hand delivered a note to my doorman saying, "We know where you live, you pig loving bootlicker," or something like that. "You're gonna die."
Wow.
So yeah, it's bizarre. It's bizarre.
Yeah, the things that are happening right now. Couldn't common sense kind of just help a lot of this stuff? A little common sense here.
Common sense is what's missing. It's been missing since 2000 and I'd say 12. That's when we started losing common sense in this country, and it's just gone downhill. It's bad.
Are the police investigating these threats that you've been getting, George?
Yeah, it's actively being investigated.
It's awful. Give us your take on what we're seeing out of Washington. There's a lot of discussion about whether these military bases that have Confederate names should be renamed or not. The president seems adamant about not renaming them. General Petraeus and others have a different view. Do you have any take on that?
I think that the whole renaming of cancel culture of history is absolutely insane. Look, the Civil War wasn't a pretty time in our country, in our nation. It's not the proudest moment of this country. However, the Civil War stood for something, and it was, the North, Abraham Lincoln, fighting against slavery. And that's what it boils down to. And the fact that we still allow Confederate, homage to be up there, statues and all of that, it's part of our history. Look, you don't have to agree to everything that happened. Like beheading Christopher Columbus's statue, what the hell does that have to do with anything? Are we going to start burning $20 bills because Andrew Jackson owned 800 slaves? Seriously, is this what we're going to come down to cancel culture? Are we going to erase and rewrite our history for the new generations? And are we not going to tell them about the Civil War and how the Confederates were the Democrats and how they lost and they fought for slavery, and how then at some point in history, everybody tried to pretend that there was a party swap of ideology? I mean, no.
Hey George, we just had Michael Faulkner on, former candidate for New York City Comptroller, great guy, he's a pastor, really sound, thoughtful guy, and he thought, and I kind of agreed with him that, at this point where we are, we've made so much progress in our country. Use the proper channels and say, okay, we're not going to celebrate the Confederate people, but they lost. You know what I mean? And they were fighting for slavery. So let's do it the right way, but don't, make it seem like, the people have the right to make the decision. Hopefully we get you to D.C., my friend. We need you, and we'll have you back soon.
What? I got to tell you, John.
George, I'm sorry. We're out of time right here. We got to have you back next week, okay?
Okay, no problem.
George Santos, Republican candidate for Congress right here in New York's 3rd Congressional District. Quick break. Back with Barry Goldsmith after this.